Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of You Haven't Seen That Podcast. I'm Isaac.
I'm Alva.
And this is a show where we cover movies on the growing list of films and ask people asking us the question, you haven't seen that? Joining us once again, the Carmonas and the Morenos join forces to tell you what the fuck we think about this movie. Hi Rachel. Hi Rudy.
Hi.
Hey, what's going on?
Fucking dick. We're covering the sequel to Tim Burton's 1988 film, BeetleJuice.
88? Holy hell.
Beetlejuice. Don't say it a third time.
He
may show up.
So I saw it the once.
I saw
opening
it
weekend,
twice.
and yeah, Alva saw it twice. You guys saw it the once. And Alva's going to be running this because we did record an episode of the Hype Attack prior to this. We're recording on a Friday the 13th, which means drinks are flowing. We're having fun. And I'm not to be trusted with guiding this podcast. So I pass it on to you, my love.
Hi. Okay.
Okay, hi.
All right. So what did you guys think about this movie? Because I didn't think there was going to be like a part 2. You want to start?
With everything that they've been resurrecting lately, like, I think it's only a matter of time before everything gets rehashed. And I wasn't as surprised as I thought I would be, but I was still like, really? Beetlejuice sequel? Like, okay. Then Jenna Ortega, and I'm like, oh, okay, well, I'll watch it then.
I love Jenna Ortega.
Exactly. I'm on board.
With how popular Beetlejuice is, I'm not shocked in the least bit. I can't remember when I last saw the first one, so all the happenings aren't very crystal clear.
Is that not a movie that you revisit?
We talked about this last time, folks. I am not a movie gal.
Mm-hmm.
I like to play the same stuff over and over in the background while I waste my life away scrolling on TikTok.
It's really a problem.
It truly is. So I don't fully remember like all of the details and things like that. Not that I'm good at that anyways. But I do feel the movie served its purpose. It was entertaining. It was funny. It gave that old school vibe of like, you know, the way it was filmed and the topics and things like that. And I dug it. I really liked it. I was entertained. I mean, I don't think it's going to be, hey, this is the greatest movie ever. You must see it. But it was entertaining. Absolutely.
I feel like that's a through line with a lot of the sequels that happen, like, you know, whatever. This one in particular, 36 years after the original. Like, I have a problem with these sequels that are decades after, where it's obviously like a money grab. So I go, hey, can you at least give me like a decent storyline or a decent movie? And I think Beetlejuice did exactly that, where I was like, I had fun. This was entertaining. It's not like cinematically a cinematic masterpiece, but you know, everyone involved that was, you know, whatever, re-involved into the movie tapped back into like what the magic was in that first movie. And overall, just a blast.
I think I'm biased to all of this because I really liked it.
I was like, I want to see Elva's comments because
my whole thing.
She's the person when I see Beetlejuice stuff, I'm like, send this to Elva.
I think that can go either way though, because you can have a really, you know, big fan of a thing and then something new comes out and they go, oh boy, they're going to ruin it for me. But she was ultimately
like,
excited.
there was like some parts where there were some parts where I'm like, okay, but I just liked it because it felt exactly like just Beetlejuice picking up, and a lot of it had to do because Tim Burton and Michael Keaton didn't want to do the movie if it didn't have those practical effects, if it didn't feel like it. So I felt that was actually there. Now I know you have a problem with the plot.
Oh, which plot? Pick a plot. Any plot.
Plot B.
There were, I mean, I think at one point I was trying to count them, and there were at least like, I don't know, 6, maybe 7 plots. There was a lot. It was plot heavy. I loved everything else about this movie. And not to say that the abundance of plots took away from the movie, but it was distracting. And compared to the first one, because how do you not compare to the original? The original had the one plot, the 2 plots maybe. Right? You had the Maitlands and then you had Beetlejuice. That was basically it, right? We had the attention span for that. This one, you have, I don't know, you have like Astrid's storyline, and then you have like her and her mom's thing, and then you have her dad dying, and then you have the other dad dying, and then you have Beetlejuice and you have his ex, and it's like all of these things, and then you have Willem Dafoe's storyline trying to solve the whole thing. It is so plot heavy where I'm kind of like, what am I focusing on? And then once again, it's my only nitpick, but like once a plot was solved or resolved, you go, cool. And then we moved on to the next thing, and it didn't let you like breathe and kind of like enjoy the resolution of that thing. And then it was just on to the next thing. I think the plot that I hated the most was, the plot between Astrid and what's his name? Jerry or whatever, the kid,
Jeremy,
the ghost kid. That one. I was like, I could have done without it. And when me and Alva were kind of like talking about it after we'd seen the movie, I go, maybe the problem was they had a core storyline, and then where they needed the characters to go needed, exterior motivation. And so I feel like maybe they wrote themselves into some particular corners. I don't know, but that was just my only problem. Just the heavy plot.
If you did without that storyline of her seeing this ghost, speaking the words that got her to the other side, how would it all have played out if you could do without that?
That's exactly what I'm saying though. Is I don't know, and I don't think they knew, and they go, oh fuck, we have to get her there.
And that's why I'm curious if you're saying like I could do without that. How? That's how she got there.
I feel like Jeremy was needed.
Yeah.
Especially for her to have the same, I guess.
For her to start believing her mom.
Yeah. Basically that needed to be like a thing to get solved at the end. The only one that I kind of feel like either needed more time or more of it was Dolores.
Oh, Monica Bellucci?
Yeah.
She absolutely, like, one of those elements that you could pick that up and, like, take it out of the movie, and it's not necessarily germane to the, pun intended, to that. Like, why did they bring her back? Why even add her to it? Because she was, like, completely separate from, like, almost everything that was going on.
Completely. No
and
interaction.
then for, like, a cool minute, like, you didn't hear or see anything of her. And then at the end, like, she comes back, like, oh, okay, she's still looking for Beetlejuice, but
like,
it was
every time she was like, in a scene, like it was stylistic, like, it's Tim Burton come back to this thing. So it's like everything's stylistic, but it was, yeah, you're exactly right. Like, oh, that plot itself could have done completely without over the whole Jeremy thing. 'Cause, I mean, like, you guys are right. Like, well, how did she get into the underworld? And like, she needed to go there. And I don't know. I'm not a writer, so I don't know what the answer is to that. But Monica Bellucci's thing was like, pull that out completely. Was that like a device to maybe, tell Beetlejuice's backstory?
I think this is where, like I say many times, I'm not that big of a critic because I didn't look at it like, oh, there's too much going on. But one thing that kind of bothered me is they never spoke to why Lydia, right? She couldn't see Homegirl's dad.
They did.
They did. They did.
And I'm so pissed about that one because it was such a throwaway thing, and I got so irritated about it. You want to?
Yeah, because he didn't want Lydia to see him. That way they can move on. But the whole thing is Astrid didn't believe Lydia had those powers that she could see the dead. Because if she can see all these people.
Did they say that though, or is that just implied?
No, the dad said it. The dad says.
When they were having coffee at the end.
He says, I know you can't see me, but I'm watching. He
says, I didn't want you guys to see me.
Yeah.
But I've been watching you guys. And I'm like, wait, the implication is that you could have made yourself visible.
Oh, I didn't hear that. I heard, I know you can't see me. So that's why in my head, I'm like, they didn't explain why she couldn't see him. But maybe I'm wrong. Like, that's okay.
What was irritating about that, I'm like, wait, so if you're watching your wife and daughter grow up and they're just bickering about them not seeing you.
That part. Like clearly she didn't get over it. Like, you not seeing her is not helping.
Makes him an asshole. Also, why the fuck was he working? Because from what I understand, the rules built. Sorry, I'm picking it apart a little bit more. Maybe whatever. But like the rules established in the whole Beetlejuice thing is if you unalive yourself, then you service the underworld. And so I'm like, I need an explanation as to why you're working in the underworld.
Yeah, it was kind of a throwaway line though from, the dinner party they were having in Beetlejuice. Like, told it as a joke. If you unalive yourself, then you come back as a silver servant in the underworld or whatever. So maybe it's not like a hard and fast rule, and they just kind of threw it in there because it doesn't jibe with the way he was bored. He died.
Do you think maybe he's like, well, I'll just like hang on a little bit because it allows me to keep an eye on family?
That absolutely could be.
It could also be a loophole, just like the Maitlands. Somehow they went to the great beyond and they found a loophole with that.
I wanted a little more of an explanation with that.
Yeah.
We came to grow and love, grow and whatever. We came to know and love, not grow and love, the Maitlands. And evidently the rule was like they're supposed to have been haunting the house for like 125 years, 150 years or something.
Also, was it Gina Davis in an interview said that she understands why she's on the movie because the ghosts don't age. At that age, you're there. So for them to be put there, like Alec Baldwin isn't how he like. I'm sorry, but you're gonna have to do a whole lot or
shooting someone ages you.
Yeah, and then having Gina Davis, like it just doesn't really. It wouldn't make sense for them to be old because they don't age.
That's really true too. Because when we covered like the Romulus thing about like de-aging, like it still hasn't been done correctly. And because in this movie, I don't think there's any CGI.
No, all of it's practical. Like Tim Burton and Michael Keaton, those two, if Michael Keaton wasn't on board, this movie would never happen. Mm-hmm. So those two wanted minimal technology in there, more practical effects, because they both know that that's going to work.
It did. Oh, it absolutely did. It's like that tangible, practical effects where you do believe like you're in that world. And like that thing's a puppet or whatever. But see, do you feel like this is a different topic and we probably won't go down this road, but like, do you feel like CGI takes you out of a movie other than a practical effect?
No, but I love computer graphics and making things, look whatever they're trying to go for. Like I love the especially like in science fiction and all that stuff, like heavy CG. So I give CG a lot of room to not look quite as good, but because I know what they're trying for. But,
yeah.
And I don't know, I guess that translates to other movies where they don't touch on it so hard, but it's there, it's there.
True. There, when they did the sandworm, I love the stop motion effect of it.
I loved when they did the stop motion for how they described Charles's death. Like, I'm just like, oh, right. This is where we're going. I love it.
And I guess this isn't just a Beetlejuice thing. I'm finding it hard to believe, especially after the movies we reviewed last time, how easy it is for a character to trust people. She met this guy and was already like, all right, let's go to the beyond and try to save you.
He was cute. He was adorable.
She got on by the dad.
90s music. Huh?
She wanted to see her dad again. That's the whole thing. It's the whole thing repeating with Beetlejuice 1.
Yeah.
Where it's Lydia wants to go and not be alive. So it's kind of somewhat repeating the same beats.
They totally could have pushed that angle without the kid too. Like she finds the handbook for the recently departed and decides to find her dad on her own, and that could have been like a through line instead of like if she's so, I want to say hot, if she's so anxious to see her father, they could have went with her finding that handbook for the recently deceased like in the Maitland's house and like started to read that and started to like piece together that this is like a real thing. Her mom's powers are real and she could possibly see her dad again if she does this. Maybe even like bouncing it off Beetlejuice because Beetlejuice can get her there or whatever.
I don't know if the rule was established, but I think like you have to have those particular ghosts, the owner of that book present in order for that book.
Yeah, because that book goes with them.
Yeah. Mm. But I don't know if that rule's ever been established or anything like that.
See, I'm like, I don't even remember these details.
Speaking of Beetlejuice, let's fucking talk about the ghost with the most. Michael Keaton, the best. This is like his favorite role. That's what he's said in interviews and everything, and I can see that he enjoys every bit of it. Oh, it's so much fun. Like,
even if it's just 17 minutes in there.
His social media content was like silly, but it was like so much fun. Like you get to see more of Beetlejuice and all like nonsensical shit. Like it's like one stop away from being Deadpool looking at the camera, and you know what I mean? Yeah. Like you felt those moments. He had like 7 minutes more screen time than the first movie.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy?
Did it?
Yeah.
And I feel like he wasn't even on screen that much. That's
it just seemed like he didn't use them real sparingly in this one.
But impactful, like very memorable.
Because like his whole thing is, even though the movie's named Beetlejuice, he knows that if you have this character on too much, it takes away from everything. So if you have like this whole journey and him popping up here and there, it just makes it like more enticing.
So again, it's been a very long time. I don't remember much from the original. Why in the movie is his name spelled differently than the title?
I don't know.
It's just a gag that they...
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, okay. I was like,
BeetleJuice.
Was I reading this wrong? I don't remember.
It's a gag.
Okay.
Can I talk real quick about when I walked out of the movie? Like I walked out of the movie and it was just
In the middle of the movie, or like after?
No, at the end.
Yeah.
I was going to say you were there.
It is a good movie. Like, it was entertaining. It was fun, but it felt like I didn't get full. Like I was eating a meal and it was all calorie, a succulent Chinese meal. I felt like I ate a Twinkie, like I shotgun like 3 Twinkies. Like it tasted all right, but it wasn't filling. Like it felt, I don't want to say it felt like a Netflix movie because Netflix puts out quality stuff too.
Yeah.
It just felt like it was like something I saw like Friday afternoon on network TV. Like back in the day, I was like, I wish it felt more theatrical.
I agree with you. And I think part of that is the number of plots. Because in any typical movie or even show, minus Game of Thrones, like you have, Game of Thrones has like 10 fucking plots. Like we counted it one time.
What's your problem with plots, Isaac?
It's too many. You don't even have time to sit with like the emotional heaviness of like a story. You know, especially with the movie. A movie, you're supposed to be like, all right, here's the one thing, maybe the second thing, because, you know, they didn't have enough but it was like Twinkies. You're like, here you go. All these little snackages, you know, in this world, and we get to explore it, and that's fun. But like, here you go. All these little things, snacks.
Did you guys
what a meal.
Have any idea that she was seeing the dead when she met him?
You're talking about Jeremy, the
Jeremy,
kid.
Astrid
I'm terrible with the names. Yes.
After a certain point, I think when she got dropped off, I was like, oh, he's a fucking ghost.
I think it was maybe the second time she went over before Halloween is when I kind of felt like there's something different.
Yeah,
why?
The parents, you couldn't see the parents.
Yeah, you couldn't see the parents. Yeah.
So that got me that you couldn't see the parents' faces. So I was like, what the hell? And then when they started floating, I was like, oh, it freaking makes sense now. But I also it didn't dawn on me at first that the parents were dead too. I thought to myself like, oh, the dad's just drinking and watching TV and the mom's just cooking everything to distract themselves from their kid dying. And then when they said the parents too, I was like, oh shit, okay, that's why we don't see their faces. I get it.
When I first saw when they first introduced him, and she's like, sorry for going through the fence, and he's like, oh, my parents won't even notice. Mm-hmm. Like my first thought was, oh, he's a ghost. And then I'm like, no, that's too easy.
Way, really?
And then when they went inside and the parents did their thing, and I'm like, oh, so the thing is their ghost and he's still alive, but you know, hanging around the house for whatever reason. And then everyone's dead. Okay.
My thing was, I'm like, 90s music, you're a ghost. Get out of here.
I love 90s music. You shut your trap.
Girl.
What a fucking weirdo.
How'd you feel about Beetlejuice's backstory?
I liked it.
Do we need it?
I felt like
I personally like more the mystery of the guy.
Yeah. Unless we're closing off and not doing any more of this, and that's like his last role with Beetlejuice.
I just didn't really understand the point of her.
Yeah.
Of her, yeah.
Yeah.
Her alone.
Play a big part, and I was like, poor Danny DeVito.
Oh no.
They totally killed him for this role.
How dare they?
She sucked him right in.
I think for
it's usually I'm a fan of.
His backstory, like, I don't know if we needed it. I do like the mystery of like the titular character, but
did he say tit?
Sure.
Always on the mind. Nope,
Lost
that's what I thought. Yeah.
No, but I feel like we already knew how old he was because he said, I lived through the Black Plague. So that that was from the first movie. So that kind of gave you kind of like he really is old. He's not just someone that just recently died maybe a couple years ago or something.
And I remembered my thought. Whether we needed the backstory or not, I do fucking love how it was done. Like in the full Italian thing. And it's somebody else doing the voice. This is voiceover.
I fucking love it.
I love that guy.
Also love the end, the musical scene. Oh my God. Mm-hmm. Having the whole little dance off and everything, I was just like, this is gold. It's never, I don't know, I'm never going to forget that.
It was cool. I think it ran a little long, but the effect was cool. And it's just, throwback to them being able to do musical numbers and shit like that.
I really thought that I was going to be like, oh boy, of course they're going to do this. But I like found myself really enjoying yet another musical number. You got to. Mm-hmm. That's it. You're a ghost with the most. You got your signature things to do.
I love good dream sequence.
I got a big problem actually, past, the backstory and past the multiple plots. Justice for Bob.
Poor Bob.
Excuse me, but like, They just fucking
He was
off
like,
them?
Bob
pretend
is
to
a
be
ride and
me.
die.
Then you're
Yeah.
gonna die.
And he
Evidently
won't
die.
and he won't snitch for you. Literally. Tell him any secret.
She did take the stitches first.
Yeah, but he didn't say anything. He still didn't say anything. He still and just accepted it.
accepted his fate. Yeah.
Really bummed
Poor
out by
Bob.
that.
Yeah, but I did like all the other, I guess, shrunken heads.
Yeah,
Yeah, one
that was
was
fun.
Brad. That's for Brad Pitt because
they
he
were calling
was
him the
producer.
Shrinkers.
Yeah. And then there's like different names for like, you have to go through all the other, but yeah, you'll see like certain names and I'm like, awesome. I think one was for like another producer or something.
We can't go through this whole thing without at least giving her flowers. Catherine O'Hara.
Oh, I was waiting for someone to bring her up.
Yeah, no, I wanted to bring it up like way back when, but like,
She needs more time on that.
holy flying fuck. Like,
She killed.
she's amazing every scene. Even in the original, like, her scenes are like, were powerful. She didn't get enough screen time. And, you know, we now know her, from like Schitt's Creek and I can feel those shades of like Moira.
I could never get into Schitt's Creek.
Okay.
But I can't look at her without hearing, "Come on!"
Which is your microphone, right? It's that one. Okay, go on.
You muted her?
A lot of rude.
God damn, like,
Water
I
so
forget how
red.
old Catherine O'Hara is, but she is so energetic. She puts fucking mustard on her roles. Like, she really does. I can watch that movie over and over. So,
Yeah, no, she even had, there was like even some references to like Schitt's Creek, like with the birds.
yeah.
I'm not yeah. So I'm just like, this is amazing. How she spoke to, it was very like Moira, but
Very, very Moira.
because they're both like, these two characters are very like artsy, very
The
like,
shades of one another.
yeah. So I'm like, go right ahead.
I loved how dramatic she was, and I love that she showed up to that school and embarrassed the shit out of her. That was, yes. Answer your mother! She just lost her father!
Your mommy just lost her daddy. I lost Charles.
Any other closing thoughts before we move on?
The opening scene, it had a little bit of the old and a little bit of the new, and like it still had little Easter eggs, like the Maitland's car.
Oh yeah, no, that was a really cool
yeah.
opening thing. Yeah.
And I like how they use that same kind of thing to like switch within like different scenes and areas. So if like Astrid was with Jeremy, they somehow use that to go back to the house. I found that like very interesting because the only time they used that I think was for when they called Beetlejuice 3 times, and that would be it.
That was another fun aspect of everyone. They know about Beetlejuice, obviously, and so they're like, well, we have our own personal issues, so let's just call him up. And he was like on our side, and that was a more fun take on Beetlejuice
because he was like basically in love with Lydia, and anything that he did, like he would do for her. Like even in the cartoon, they're like they're the best duo.
There's a Beetlejuice cartoon.
Oh, yeah.
Fucking clueless over here.
So to wrap it up, obviously we fucking love the hell out of Beetlejuice. If you haven't seen the movie, if you're a fan of the original movie, watch Beetlejuice. You have fun through and through. Obviously, if you're me and you pick apart some of the stuff, you're going to kind of kill it for yourself.
Yeah, I'm like over here on the Morenos side, loved the hell out of Beetlejuice.
Yeah, I
as a
loved
stretch.
it. Loved it that I had to watch it twice.
So I wanted to do something a little new because I've been wanting to introduce this to either one of the shows that we do. Want to do a little trivia. And I'm going to have
You might
the...
wanna-
Oh, fuck. I'm going to be the worst at this.
It's Tim Burton trivia.
I'm still going to be the worst at it.
All right. So let's start it off.
Hit him.
Ugh, I'm about to embarrass myself. Go.
Are you gonna give us a question, like each one a question, or
Don't ask me directly, please. Yeah, don't do it.
okay, or just like raise our hands?
Just
Ding, ding, ding.
Just why I know how to use this trivia doesn't mean I'm going to get all these.
Let's just watch Elva answer all of these correctly. Like it's
No, you know what? Let's do one by one. Elva,
Oh,
we'll start
shit.
with you.
Why?
In which Tim Burton film did the main character become a vicious serial killer throughout the plot? Nightmare Before Christmas, Sleepy Hollow, Sweeney Todd, or Nightmare on Elm Street?
Sweeney Todd.
Ding, ding, ding.
Oh, I
Sweeney Todd.
knew that. Erase that and give me that question.
Rachel,
Relax.
We can cut this after, right?
which Tim Burton film is about the main character being abandoned but welcomed into a new family who accepts them for who they are? Alice in Wonderland, Planet of the Apes, James and the Giant Peach, or Edward Scissorhands?
Edward Scissorhands.
Ding, ding, ding.
I was going to say that before you even multiple choice.
There you go. Rudy, in which Tim Burton film did the main character travel to a different universe? Frankenweenie, James and the Giant Peach, Planet of the Apes, or Charlie and the Chocolate Factory?
James and the Giant Peach.
Planet of the Apes. he did time travel to a different universe.
Wait, Tim Burton did?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, I'm like, I didn't even know he
With
was
Mark
involved
Wahlberg.
in
You
Planet
keep
of the
throwing that
Apes.
shit out. I thought it was a throwaway answer. I'm like, huh?
Hey, apes, get your stinky paws off me.
James and the Giant Peach doesn't go to a new universe. He goes inside the peach.
And luckily he's not allergic to the peach.
Okay.
Yeah, but like with the,
He's got his
I
EpiPen.
think with the peach is like introduced all these like weird things, and it's like, oh, it's a different universe.
You know what? Do you want to? They got theirs right. Do you want to redeem yourself? Okay.
If it's possible.
In which Tim Burton film was one of the main characters murdered by their fiance? Beetlejuice, Corpse Bride, Dumbo, or Dark Shadows?
Dumbo, what the fuck?
He did Dumbo.
Yeah, he
Corpse
did
Bride?
Dumbo. Oh, I know he did, but
Ding, ding, ding. You are redeemed. All right. That wraps up this episode. Alva, tell people where they can find us.
They can find us at on Instagram and TikTok. Forehead Films, FOREHED Films, wherever podcasts are available.
Absolutely. And Rudy, where can people find you and the Hype Attack?
At the Hype Attack podcast on YouTube, at the Hype Attack on Instagram, and my personal Instagram is at rogue.one.
Rachel, would you like to share people what your social medias are?
oh, I was gonna say you can find me in Anaheim throwing my life away on TikTok. My Instagram is at Ray Nicole, and me and Alva kind of have a joint one that we started and we don't do enough with. At Rachel Carmonas.
Oh, that's right.
But
Diaries of Rachel.
We didn't do the most important part, right? I feel you could either stream this or go into theater, one or the other, because I don't feel like this is a must see. If you're a big fan, go for it. But it was entertaining, but it wasn't something that I feel like I would have missed out on had I not seen it in theaters.
Alva?
I'm pretty sure all the Beetlejuice fans already want to see it, but anyways, go see it.
Yeah.
And stream it as well.
Rudy? Tell us how you really feel.
I'm so conflicted because it was objectively it was a good movie. Like I liked it, but it didn't like
That was my do you decision.
Yeah.
It didn't hit the taste buds
Casey
the way I
full of
wanted it
Twinkies,
to.
y'all.
I mean, go see it in the theater just because go to the fucking movies. Like going to the movies is an
Get
experience.
those butts in movies.
But if you don't feel like it, it's absolutely valid to watch it on streaming. But watch it regardless.
And in the meantime, tell us what movies you're excited to go see. They're coming out for the rest of the year. And tell us what movies are on your list of growing films that has people asking you the question. You haven't seen that? Later, folks.
Okay, bye.
Bye.